Hello, and welcome to this evening's Fireside Chat.
Well, a very good evening to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here, sir, today.
We at CARE believe there is not just one path to success. Today, I'm just going to go through 4 things. Let's make it a story. Let's try to understand what Sindhu's childhood was, what her journey subsequently was like. It's not easy to win so many championships, right? So the climb or the grind has to be really hard. Let's try to understand what a champion needs to go through to achieve the last part, which is the success she has gone through. So I'll just start with family. When you were a child, how was dad and mom like? How was just growing up as a kid? How was it?
Well, yeah, I was also like one of them where, I started my journey. I started playing badminton at the age of 8.5. So initially it was just for fun. Back then, I never thought that, I would become a world champion or an Olympic medalist. But both my parents were volleyball players. My dad is an Arjuna awardee in volleyball. So when my dad was playing volleyball, I used to go to the ground. I used to just see how he's playing and what he's doing. So just for fun, besides there was a badminton court. And I just thought, let me give it a try. So that's how it all started. And I built up that interest, and my parents supported me in whichever sport I wanted to. They said, okay, if you want to play, just play. I mean, they didn't force me, because a lot of people ask me, why not volleyball, why badminton? Because, your parents used to play volleyball, and, it would be really nice for you to play. But I think it was just my interest that I got into badminton. And my dad used to work in railways, sports officer. So in that way, I was really lucky because, I started playing in railway grounds. So it was easy also for me, they were badminton players. So my dad used to tell them, they used to make me play. In a way, I'm really very lucky that I got that exposure, because not everybody, get that. So yeah, my childhood days, I started at the age of 8.5, and I started playing continuously, and I really had that interest to go every single day. And I never looked back from then. And at the age of 10, I started playing tournaments under 10, under 13, 16, and 19, and so on. But a lot of people, used to tell my mom, my dad, like, what is next? What is she going to do? Because, I used to go for training, come back, and then school. They were like, neither studies nor sports. Like, what is next? Because at that point of time, it was only the start. Like, nobody knew that I would become a champion back then. But I think all that aside, I mean, it never came into my ears. My parents trusted me, believed in me, and encouraged me in such a way that, whatever happens, no matter what, they always supported me. Even though I lost few matches, they were like, it's okay, there's always a next time. And I think, since they know what it is, they've seen, they've experienced when you lose, how do you take it? I think that really helped me in a way to come back stronger, and here I am today.
Great, great. So, Dad was talking about your sister, and apparently she's a doctor, gynecologist. What was your relationship with her? Somebody fully into academics, another person fully into sport.
Yeah, my sister's name is Divya, so we are like 7.5 years apart. I mean, she's like my second mother, because, when I was really young, my mom used to go to office, so my sister used to be there, so she used to teach me. And in fact, she used to cry if I used to not get those rhymes or whatever it is in school. So she's taken care really well. And I mean, she also used to play sports. She used to play basketball and netball. But then, once she got into medicine, completely her focus shifted to, being a doctor. But me coming into sports, I mean, initially when she used to play sport, I was really young, and back then she used to tell me that you don't know how to play. But now when I look back, we make jokes. Back then I told like that, but now, it's completely different the other way. But otherwise, yeah, we have a very, very good relationship. And she's very close to me, and like she's my go-to person all the time. I mean, we never fought. People used to ask me, as sisters, you never fought, but yeah, we never fought. She was like my second mother, and she used to really take care of me very, very well.
Great. So, as kids in school, one of the other support pillar are your friends or the friend circle, what they do. I'm asking you when you were younger, much younger, how were your friends like?
So when I started playing badminton, I mean, I used to take permissions from school because my training sessions used to be in the morning and in the evening. So because, I had to travel really far away from my house. It was almost like 27 kilometers going and then 27 coming and then go to school and come back from school and again 27 going and coming. So I used to take...
Kids don't complain. Kids don't complain. Look at the amount of effort being put in to be a champion. I was joking with her saying she can buy time because she's doing so much which all of us can only dream about. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I used to take permission from my principal, from my class teachers that I know I would miss one period in the morning, and in the evening, around 3 o'clock I would just go to practice again. So, well, I mean, I was really very grateful that they've supported me in a way. But when I used to go for practice, everybody used to ask me, what's happening, why are you going? They never knew that I was actually going for training. They knew that I was playing badminton. But they were like, why are you going? You're just simply going and coming. I mean, you don't want to attend school. They used to say all these things.
Are parents permitting you to play bunk school and play?
But after a few days, after a few years, when I started winning tournaments, then they understood what it was. And, now when I meet them, I mean, after school, I mean, I've achieved a lot and, I've got a lot of success. But I think when I meet them, I mean, I don't meet them, but, on the phone when they call me or, on social media when they message me, they're like, hats off to you. We never thought, you would become such a champion back then. And they feel really, really happy that, I am their friend. So I think even though people didn't know, even though my friends didn't know back then, I think they always, appreciated me and congratulated me no matter what, which I'm really grateful for.
Great. So, I think the school part, you've already shared with us saying they were supportive, they permitted you to go for your training. Besides that, is there something about the school you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think who will not talk about the school journey? I think that's where it all starts. I've completed my MBA. So people say that, if you're into sports, studies is not really very important. But I think according to me, studies and sports are equally important because, sporting career is a very small career. But I think study, when you know what you have to do or when you complete your studies, you actually can do much more after sport. That's what I believe in. And I think my parents supported me that so that I could continue schooling and I could finish my schooling. So when I finished my 10th, they were like, do your inter. When I finished my inter, then they were like degree and then MBA. So successfully I've completed my MBA. So I think importance of school is very, very needed, very much needed, because when you start studying or when you start playing, I think the teachers, the principal support is very important. And, when you play sport, I mean, like this, like Care International School, I mean, when I first came in, I was like, wow, because studies and sports are equally important, as I mentioned earlier. So it's not just studies. I mean, people or students studying here, they shouldn't get fatigued or they shouldn't get bored of studying. So I think these kinds of schools must have a playground. So I think from the grassroots levels, if they have playgrounds like these, students will be much more energetic and much more, I would say, clever in a way, because it's not 24/7 that you study, but some kind of sport, some kind of activity is required. And that's why I say schooling is very important for every child and every kid.
A lot of parents typically say sports and studies, they cannot coexist. There is a living legend proving otherwise. That leads me on to the next, which is dreams. So we already know her dream. What was your dream before badminton as kids? You were looking at father, mother, your sister, your friends.
Yeah, when I was really young, I wanted to become a doctor, but I would say badminton is much nicer than that. Yeah, I mean, when I was studying, I was a really good student at school. So initially I thought, but once I got into badminton, I never looked back, and I don't regret it because I've always loved playing, and this is my passion. So I love playing badminton, and that's how,
Fantastic. So your dreams, whatever your dreams are, please work on them. And as you explore more channels, you might find your true calling. This brings me to the next segment of our talk. She's already answered some of this, so I might have to skip a few. In any case, I had a question saying, what was the first step or that key moment where you had the calling for becoming a badminton player?
When I started in railway grounds. After 1 year, I shifted to LB Stadium, which was almost 40 minutes away from my house. When I started playing there, I mean, I was really young, and there were so many young kids. I was one of them. And then after 1 year, they all shifted to Gachibowli, which was 27 kilometers away. And coming from a middle class family, I mean, both my parents used to work in railways, so it was really very hard for us to travel really far. So my dad thought, we'll see, we'll think about it. But I was so stubborn that, I wanted to go every single day. So, almost for 5 years, 5-6 years, we, traveled, yes, back and forth. And I mean, I should say that more than me, they've done a lot of sacrifices because it wasn't easy. Because my sister used to go to Gandhi Medical College, which everything was nearby my house. But for me, everything was, very far. So after a few years, we all shifted nearby to the academy so that, it wasn't hard for me because, rest is very important for an athlete, and also nutrition is very important. And they've sacrificed where they've given VRS to their jobs, both mom and dad. And so that, they can take care of me, mom at home, so that, by the time I come back from my practice session, she's ready with the food. And my dad always, even now, he comes to stadiums, he takes me to the stadium, and, he watches me play, and he tells me, he gives me some tips, how am I playing, what mistakes am I doing, and then we come back home discussing how it was and how the session was. So even in the house, we discuss a lot of badminton because, since the time I've started until now, he's been traveling with me everywhere. So it's like they're like my pillars, and they guide me in a right way so that, even when I lose at times, they give me that confidence that it is okay, and what mistakes I've done. They tell me what mistakes I've done so that I don't do those mistakes again. So this was a journey, and I think there were a lot of ups and downs. That's how life is. But I think I've learned a lot, and I've experienced a lot of them, and year by year, step by step, I've come so far.
Great. So this brings me to a point where all of us understand having a mentor, guide, or coach is very important. So how did you find your first coach? How did you identify? How did you find, or did they find you?
When I was playing, there was this one coach, who was my first coach. His name is Mehboob Ali. And I was playing in illicit grounds, and I just went and I told him that I want to play, and he was my coach, where he's taught me my first steps, I would say, starting off with the grip, with the footwork. And after that, year by year, like there were other coaches who guided me, who were with me for a year or two. So I think, I mean, each and every coach has taught me something in life. Because I think it's really good to have different coaches because they teach you different things, because everybody's perspective is different, everybody's thinking is different. So in a way, it's good that I've learned different ways and different things and different strategies and different skills in life. So I'm very thankful to every coach, because I think as a coach, as a guide, as a mentor, he needs to understand how the player is, what is going on in her head, like while she's playing, or if she's not doing well, how does he have to support her, encourage her. I know, I mean, sitting at the back, he would have a lot of emotions, a lot of tensions going on, but I think putting that aside, he needs to tell what the opponent is doing and what needs to be done. So I think a mentor's role is very, very important. And of course, even my dad, guides me and he tells me how to play. I'm sure, I mean, a lot of things might be going on in their head because, we play with different players and there are different strategies to be played. And if plan A doesn't work, you need to immediately change into plan B. So I think, yeah, I mean, a mentor's coaching is very, very important. And as an athlete, I also need to understand what he's telling or what he's explaining me in a way. Because if that relationship isn't there, I think then it doesn't work. So it needs to be in such a way that you need to understand, I mean, even a single word, what he's saying and what he's...
Each other's perspective.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
So, the climb. So, just to make it very, very simple, rather than saying it's tough, easy, whatever, I thought I'll ask you, if you were to walk us through a one-day schedule of yours, what would it look like? What time do you get up till the day ends? Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, I mean, initially back then, I used to have my training sessions at 5 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, 4:15 in the morning. But now I start my training at 7:30. So in the morning around like 7:30 until 9:30, and then I stretch a bit, come back home, and again 10:30, 10:45, I do my gym sessions at home. We have a gym at home, so my trainer comes, trains me almost for 2 hours. That would be like until 12:31. And then I do my recovery sessions with my physio. And then in the evening again around 4 o'clock until 5:36, I do my on-court sessions again. Yeah, and I stretch and then I come back home. So that's my daily schedule. And I come back home and play with my dog and with my nephew. I spend a bit of time with them.
No, I think from a perspective of after you become successful, how do you deal with the rest of the engagements? For example, her presence here today. Can you walk me through the last 24 hours?
Yeah. So on the 25th, I was in Vijayawada, 25th and 26th. And of course, we drove to Vijayawada, which was like 3.5 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours. So we came back on the 26th midnight. That was, we left around at 11:30 in the night, and we reached at 3:34.
That's this morning,
yeah,
3:34.
This morning. And then I slept for a while until like 8:39, and then I went for my training session until 11. And again, I did my gym session from 11:30 until 1:30. And then, yeah, I ate a bit, I got ready. My flight was at 4:30, and I came here at 6:30, and I came here.
We read in books about dedication and commitment. This is something far beyond that. You're a living example.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
To achieve success beyond all this rigor, I'm sure you've had to make some sacrifices. If you could name one, I'm sure there are many, one which was hardest for you to do, the sacrifice that you had to make.
There are a lot of sacrifices. And especially, if you want to achieve something, if you have dreams, I think every day, even though it's really hard, it's getting tougher every single day. I think when you think about the dream, when you want to achieve something, I think nothing is harder. I mean, there might be a lot of sacrifices in life, but when you get that medal and when you stand on the podium, you forget all the sacrifices that you've done. So, I mean, I've won a lot, but I think I still feel this is a starting and there's more way to go. And I think there is no one such sacrifice that led me here, but I think there are a lot of sacrifices because, yeah, I think you need to be dedicated, you need to be your 100% every single day. And there are days where you might feel what is happening, nothing is going right. But I think even in those days, you must still feel that it is okay. It is okay to lose. It is okay to, not do well. But that one particular day will come where you want to or where you can prove yourself and show the world that, yes, you can do it. So that's what I believe in. And every time I lose or I don't do well, I always think for myself that it is okay. And I train even more harder because my parents just told me one thing, that, how much ever you are successful or you're at the top, you always have to understand from where you've come. So that's what I follow.
Fantastic. These missteps and failure, you had mentioned it briefly. How do you cope with it? How do you cope with it? From a champion's mindset, how do you cope with a misstep?
I mean, there are a lot of matches where I just missed in one point or where I could have won comfortably and I lost few matches. And there were days where I was really sad, I cry, and I mean, I speak to my parents, I speak to my dad, like nothing is going right, what am I doing? I'm training harder, but still it's not working out. But I think it's very important to understand that it is okay to lose. And you just have to believe in yourself. And I think it's not just end of the world. It is not just over. I mean, there are a lot of tournaments, there are a lot of matches, because if you think about this one particular loss, I mean, the next time you go and play another tournament, you still keep thinking about what has happened. So I think what has happened, and you need to focus on what is next. And that is very important in everyone's life, in any profession, because it's not just in badminton, but I think in studies or business or any profession, I would say that, what has happened has happened. I mean, it is okay to think about it, feel bad for a day or two, but it's also important to move on and focus on what is next.
Fantastic. This brings me to the last segment of story, success. You think it's easy to be successful? I believe there are challenges which come with it. So, challenges of being a celebrity. Can you walk to a mall? Can you go to a restaurant? What happens?
Well, it's not easy at all. I mean, you can't go actually. You can't go anywhere. I mean, even though if you have to go for a movie, you just go in the last minute and come back early. So that's what it is. But I think success is always nice. I mean, behind that, there might be a lot of things, but when you feel that success and when you standing on the podium, when you win a medal, I think that is a different feeling altogether. So, I mean, there might be a lot of things you get like a package, but it's always nice to feel it, because when you're young, you have an inspiration that, yes, I want to become like them, or I also want to be successful. I also want to be a role model to many people. And when you become a role model, or when you are an inspiration to a lot of people, I think you need to enjoy that. And being in the limelight might be harder, but when you feel it, I think it's always nice.
Great. One of the moment, we as all Indians, a proud moment is when you carried the national flag at the Olympics. What did you feel like?
Well, it was such a wonderful feeling because, when you're standing on the podium, holding the national flag, I mean, it's a different feeling because, you're holding a national flag in a different country altogether. And when the national anthem is being played, I think I have goosebumps. And it's always nice that, yes, I have got that medal for my country. When you think about it, and when you see it's flying high, I mean, it's a different feeling. I mean, you're on the cloud nine. And yeah, as I mentioned, I think it's a great feeling when your national flag, your national anthem is being played in a different country, and everybody is standing and giving that ovation and standing for the national anthem. So.
As part of your success, there are a lot of rewards you get. And recently in Forbes magazine, you were ranked within the highest paid female athletes in the world. And as part of those successes, I'm sure there may be dreams that or plans you have for how you would utilize those rewards of success.
Well, firstly, when people told me that I was in the Forbes list, I felt really happy. And I mean, it's a great feeling because you're one of the top athletes. I mean, there are, top athletes in the world, like you take from tennis or any sport, and you're one of them. I think that's such a great feeling, and that gives you a lot of motivation. And I think these kinds of, rewards and awards give you that motivation to go to another level. It's not that you've achieved everything, but it also tells you that, yes, you can go much more further. And this is one of those steps where you can achieve a lot more in life. So always when I get these rewards, when I win tournaments, or when I get awarded by the president or Modi sir or anyone, I think it's such a wonderful feeling that, yes, I mean, it gives me a motivation and it gives me that confidence to go to another level.
No, for India, mostly where we say in sports we are not succeeding and all that, this Forbes list, just to give you context, PV Sindhu has been ranked number 12 as the highest paid female athlete. It tells the world what India's potential is, what each of your potential is, and there is a standing role model showing you achieving that success is possible. Close to the last part.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have dreams at every stage.
Yeah,
What is your current dream?
Well, I have a lot of tournaments coming up. It's a busy schedule. And 2024 is, we have Paris Olympics. So, yeah, ultimate aim and dream is to get a medal at Paris 2024. So, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It is going to be a hard journey. But everybody is working hard. And yes, I must also work hard. There are no excuses. At the same time, I have to give my 100% every single day. Not a day that I feel or I should feel that, it is okay. But, when you're really fatigued and when you're really tired, when you think about your dream, you immediately get up and go and give your best and give your 100%. So, yeah, that is my current dream. And, yeah, I mean, before that, we have a lot of tournaments because it is going to be an Olympic qualification year. So, I wish and hope that, I win some of the tournaments and I stay healthy and fit and injury-free. So, yeah.
Great. Rewind. Let's say you're granted a wish to go back in time. Is there any one thing in your journey that you'd like to change, and why?
Well, a lot of people ask me this question all the time. So, when I was playing my 2016, the Olympic final, maybe that was one where I would rewind where I would have got the gold. I mean, when you play, it's just that one can win and one should lose. I mean, I've given my 100% and it wasn't my day. I mean, she played well and she won. But I think it's also very important that I've learned a lot more and I've moved forward in my life. But yeah, if I have to rewind, I would say that and 2016 because it was very close one.
Close game.
Where in the third set it was 11 all and after that, she's won 21-15. But I think I was a bit sad. But when I came back home, people were like, you didn't know how it was, when you were playing at Rio. And people told me that, you did not lose, but you won silver. I think that itself gave me a lot of confidence, and since then I've never looked back and I've continued.
Fantastic. I think that kind of nicely sums up the whole journey that you've gone through. What we had captured here is several years of ups and downs, challenges, but the key message to us as audience is a blueprint to success. How to succeed has been clearly defined in her attitude, in her perspective, and I think that's something all of us need to take away. Our wish, CARE International School wish for Sindhu and every one of you, please live your daydream. And I'm sure you can make the world a better place. Thank you. Good night.